What if the real key to transforming a whole nation, to solving its biggest, most tangled problems, wasn't some new policy or fancy technology? What if it was something quieter, something that starts inside each and every one of us? Well, today we're diving into the Bharat Ekatm Abhiyan, a really fascinating movement that proposes exactly that, a direct line from our own inner peace to global harmony. Okay, so let's just start with this idea from Daji, the global guide of the Heartfulness movement. This isn't just another project or campaign. He says it's the melting of all boundaries. That's a big, profound statement, right? It really sets the stage for a seriously ambitious vision.
So, what is the Bharat Ekatm Abhiyan really? At its heart, it's a movement trying to connect two worlds we usually keep pretty separate: our inner, spiritual life, and the outer world of economics, society, and development. The goal is to create a model, first for India and then maybe for the world, where one actually fuels the other.
To even begin to understand how a vision this massive is supposed to work, we've got to start where the movement itself starts, with a single person. This first part is all about that tiny seed of change, the one from which everything else is meant to grow. And here it is. The entire foundation rests on this one simple but incredibly powerful idea: Har Dil Dhyan, Har Din Dhyan. Every heart meditates every single day. The core belief here is that the most fundamental unit of change isn't a village or a city, but just one person and their daily practice of meditation. And this is where you really see the theory in action. The idea is that individual inner peace isn't just some personal benefit. It's meant to create this massive ripple effect. The thinking goes that a calm, centered mind is less likely to commit crime, it's more open to solving problems peacefully, and it naturally develops compassion. You put that all together, and you get a society of peaceful, productive citizens, the perfect soil for a nation to really thrive. Okay, so we've got the individual. Now let's see how this scales up from one person to a whole community. If inner peace is the seed, then the smart village is the first bloom. It's the practical, on-the-ground application of this whole philosophy. Now, this is not your typical smart city idea that's all about tech and Wi-Fi. The vision for a smart village is way more holistic. I mean, yeah, technology has a role, but the real pillars are things like moral enlightenment, which comes from that core of meditation, ecological sustainability, and being economically self-sufficient. It's about building a community that actually has a soul. So how do you actually build one? Well, the blueprint is broken down into these 5 key elements. You've got infrastructure with integrity, a self-reliant local economy, a deep respect for the environment, but check out the last 2: swift local justice and treating waste as a resource. These are going after some of the biggest national problems, but tackling them at the village level. Let's just zoom in on that last point for a second, because it's such a brilliant example of how this philosophy translates into a real, practical economic model. This section is all about how you turn one of a nation's biggest headaches, waste, into a source of wealth. This is a huge perspective shift. The movement is basically saying, stop seeing waste as garbage you have to get rid of. Instead, we should start seeing it as a valuable, completely ignored resource. This whole idea of waste economics is key to building these self-sufficient communities. And get this isn't just some feel-good philosophy. There are hard numbers to back it up. We're talking about an estimated saving at between 10 to 25 lakh rupees per kilometer on public drainage. How? By avoiding these massive, centralized systems and using simple local solutions like eco-pits and home-based recycling instead. That's an enormous saving when you multiply it across thousands of villages. So how do you actually do it? Well, it comes down to these 3 practical steps. The 3 R's we've all heard of, but here they're applied systematically. You reuse through things like home composting, you recycle organic waste into biogas for energy, and you reduce through conscious consumption, which, the movement argues, is a natural result of having a more mindful, meditative practice. And the cost of not doing this? It's just staggering. Every single type of waste we mismanage has a direct negative hit on the economy. Sewage pollutes our water. Agricultural waste is a huge missed opportunity for clean energy. E-waste means we're literally throwing away precious metals. This frames inaction not just as an environmental problem, but as a massive economic blunder. All right, let's broaden out that idea of the cost of inaction, because waste is one part of it for sure, but the source material points to an even bigger, more systemic problem that this movement is trying to confront head on. And they've given this crisis a name: delay and denial economics. This is all about the colossal economic and social losses caused by things we see every day: government procrastination, bureaucratic red tape, corruption, just a general failure to get things done. And if you want to understand the sheer scale of this paralysis, just look at this number: over 50 million. That's how many court cases are currently pending across India. It's a system under such crushing strain that for millions of people, justice delayed is truly justice denied. And the price tag for all that delay, it is absolutely mind-blowing. An estimated $2 trillion. That's with a T. That's the value of development projects, roads, hospitals, power plants, just stalled, stuck in this gridlock. This isn't just inefficiency. It's a deadweight holding back the entire country. So what's the solution? Well, the contrast is pretty stark. Where the current system can take 10 to 15 times years to reach a verdict, the Smart Village model proposes a local, efficient justice system that aims to resolve cases in 30 to 60 days. The thinking is, a society rooted in inner peace and compassion will have fewer fights to begin with, and the ones it does have can be sorted out with integrity and speed. Okay, so we've gone from the individual to the village to tackling these huge national problems, but the vision doesn't stop at India's borders. The final and maybe biggest piece of this puzzle is about taking this model and offering it as a blueprint for the entire world. The ultimate ambition here is for the Smart Village to be more than just a national strategy. The hope is that it can become a replicable model that inspires a global shift in consciousness, leading to what the movement calls a One Earth Alliance, a global network of communities all built on these same principles of inner peace leading to outer harmony. This quote just brings everything full circle, doesn't it? It draws that direct, unbroken line from the simple act of one person meditating all the way to the grandest possible goal you can imagine, an end to global conflict. It's the ultimate ripple effect. And this is the final unifying message that it all comes down to. It's a call to look beyond our national borders, beyond our cultural differences, and to recognize our shared humanity, our shared home, and that shared inner essence. It's a message of incredible hope. So, we end with the central question that this whole movement puts on the table. Is it really possible? Can the solution to our most complex, large-scale problems, from waste management to a broken justice system to global conflict, really lie in the quiet, simple, and radical act of inner stillness? It's a provocative thought for sure, and one that's definitely worth thinking about.